Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be doing my very first Q&A ever, which I'm really excited about. So I posted on Instagram stories the questions you guys had about me in general, personal questions, bag questions, fashion questions, and I got a ton of questions. So I don't think I can cover all questions in this one video, so I decided to split it up into two videos. So today's video, I'm gonna go over some of the more personal questions, and then I will do a part 2 next week where I will go through the handbag luxury questions. There were some repeat questions as well, so I will bundle those questions together and answer them. First question is, are you born in Australia or Korea? Do you speak Korean? A lot of you asked me if I do speak Korean, and yes, I do, and I was born in Korea. We moved to Sydney when I was about 11 years old, so I was going into year 6 in primary school. So definitely was a challenging time because I didn't really speak English, but I guess I was still lucky that I was young enough to adapt and learn English, but still old enough to keep my Korean. Next question is, favorite place you've traveled to? Hands down, it has to be Santorini. It may be because it was my honeymoon, but it was the most beautiful place that I've ever been to. I wouldn't say I traveled a lot compared to a lot of people, but I feel I have traveled to quite a few places in my life, and yeah, that was just the most amazing place. It was beautiful, food was great, everyone was so friendly. It was just all over the best experience. Next question, how many siblings do you have? Love your channel. Thank you so much, babe. I do have one younger brother. Question from one of my long time friends and subscribers here, Louise Holland 79. She had 3 questions for me. First one is, do you still share the same passion about luxury/bags as when you first started YouTube? Yes and no. This is a tricky question to answer because I feel that I still do love luxury, and I do really enjoy my items and the new items I add, and when there's something new that I'm really interested in, I do get really excited. But there are a few things that have possibly affected my luxury, in the last couple of years. I guess one is the pandemic. I think we can all agree that when the pandemic first hit, we probably all reviewed our priorities and what's important in life. So that was a really big wake-up call. And even though I still loved luxury, it really put a lot of things into perspective. And 2, I feel the luxury shopping is not the same as it was 5-10 years ago. So I started shopping luxury when I first graduated from university and had a proper career job, which was a bit over 10 years ago. I did graduate pretty young from uni. At the time, social media wasn't such a big thing. The prices, even inflation adjusted, were a lot more obtainable, and it wasn't so fast fashiony where these designers constantly came up with new designs. I really like the slow fashion aspect about the luxury shopping, but in the last couple of years, a lot of things have really turned me off. I'm never gonna say I'm not gonna luxury shop again. As you guys know, I have still been buying things and really been enjoying things, but if I'm being really honest, my passion has probably decreased a little bit because of those factors. It just doesn't feel luxurious anymore. The prices just seem exorbitant. What do you guys think? I'd love to know. And it could also be that I've been buying luxury for a long time now, so I am lucky enough to have a lot of my holy grails. So maybe that is another thing, and also life becoming a little busier with lots of other things happening in my life. So I am sure it is a combination of factors. But yes and no, I still have a passion for luxury, but it's probably shifted a little bit. Another question she had was how you met your husband, although I understand if you want to keep it private. I did briefly mention this before when I announced that I was getting married. We met in dental school all those years ago, so we were just babies. So plain and simple, we met at university. Last question she had was favorite YouTube memories/video. I have to say my favorite YouTube memory has to be when I did my meet and greet here in Sydney. It was hosted by one of my favorite brands, Frère Lepage Sydney team. It was amazing. They organized the whole thing. They did catering for us, shut the whole store for a whole evening to accommodate 2 sessions where I could invite some of you guys that wanted to come along who live in Sydney and just get to meet you guys. It was just such an honor to meet you guys. It's just a very humbling experience. I'm just like one of you guys, just a working girl who loves her luxury, and it was just so nice to meet like-minded people, some of whom I've been chatting to online for a few years already. I did actually film little bits and pieces here and there during the meetup, but I basically was leaving for Europe the next week, so I never got around to compiling all the footages and uploading it. But maybe sometime in the future I'll share some of the footages with you guys, but that has to be my favorite memory. Next one from Melanie. Just want to say I love your channel and style, Isabelle. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Next, love your channel. How do you budget for designer purchases? I actually did 2 whole videos on how I budget for luxury purchases, so I'm gonna leave those videos in the description section below if you haven't watched them already. Nothing too much has changed, but basically I do 2 things that I think are really important to me. One is I really focus in on upskilling myself so that I can have a higher income. That is one thing, because you can save all you want, but it is a finite amount if your income never goes up. And investing in yourself to upskill, no one can ever take that away from you. It is going to stay with you forever. Having multiple income streams, such as having a side hustle like this YouTube channel, definitely helps with that as well. And I do the whole bucket system where I put aside enough money for the bills, investing, mortgages, and then I put aside a certain amount into my fun account that I can play with. Sometimes I sell items that I am no longer loving or using, and whatever funds that I recoup, I recycle that money as well and put that back into my fun account so it can go towards a new purchase. That is basically in a nutshell what I do, but yeah, definitely check out those videos if you want more details. How many children do you plan to have? So this is my first pregnancy. I'm gonna see how I go with this one and decide after that. But if all goes well and we are blessed enough to have another one, I would love to have 2 children. Since I have 1 brother, my husband has 1 brother as well. I guess we feel like a family of 2 children works well, but these things are not up to us. They say children are a gift, so I'm sure we can't completely plan these things. But yeah, in the ideal world, I'd love to have 2. Next question, what advice would you have for me, a single female turning 30 this year? What would you tell yourself? This is a really broad question. It can really go anywhere. I am in my mid-30s now, so looking back when I was turning 30, there was a little bit of anxiety about, am I far enough in my life? Am I not ticking enough milestones? You know, should I be getting married and have kids? Am I far progressed enough in my career? Am I on the right path? There were just so many questions. It is definitely a bit of a confusing time because society does definitely put that pressure, especially on women, to have achieved these milestones. So I have to admit I had a little bit of anxiety around that. But looking back now, knowing what I know now, you know, having lived a few more years past the year 30, I feel like 30 was still so young. I wish I had more fun and traveled more, did more things. Mind you, soon after I turned 30, there was the pandemic. It's hard for me to answer because I'm not too sure what situation you're in, but all I can say is that looking back even just a few years, 30 was so young. You could do anything you want. And if you're feeling the societal pressure that I did, don't, because everyone has their own journey. It is such a cliche, but it is so true. Most of my friends were married with kids by the age of 30. So in that respect, that I wasn't ready, I definitely felt a little bit behind. But life is a long game. They say our generation's likely going to live up to 100. So if I was talking to my 30-year-old self, I think I'll just tell myself, don't worry too much, enjoy yourself, and you're still young. Next question. Hello, I'm from Texas. Have you been to Texas, USA? I have not been to Texas. The only place that I've been to in the US is New York and also Hawaii. That counts as the US as well, right? Are you planning on a trip before your baby is born? Congrats, I love all your videos. Thank you so much, hun. Yes, we are planning a baby moon. We were so confused where we were gonna go. Australia is just so far away from everywhere else, so we thought about going domestically and going somewhere nice in Australia or going overseas but not going too far. And because I'm generally medically an anxious person, I wanted to go to a place where I'm going to have access to good medical care that I can trust. So all things considered, we've decided we are gonna go to Korea, and this time not just stay in Seoul, but we are gonna go along the south coast of Korea, which is beautiful. So we're gonna go to Busan, which is a major city on the south coast. Start there, hire a car and explore the south coast of Korea. There are some amazing resorts. I can eat all my favorite foods. I'm craving so many Korean foods at the moment. And Korea has one of the most advanced medical systems things in the world, so we felt comfortable enough to do that. You guys know that I'm Korean. There are so many parts of Korea that I haven't explored yet, and I would just love to do a section of that this time. And of course, shopping is going to be so good in Korea in terms of baby things. There are certain items that all my Korean friends are telling me you have to get the Korean versions because either the material is just so much better, the design is just more clever. So there's a whole list of baby things that we want to buy and bring over as well. So that is going to be the perfect baby moon destination for us. Next question, I'm obsessed with your engagement ring. Could you share how many carats it is? So this is my engagement ring. I got the permission from hubby to share the specs of this diamond publicly. So this is a round brilliant cut in 1.7 carats. The color is E, and I believe clarity is VS1. Anyway, I have the whole GIA certificate. I love this ring. I love how simple it is, and the size I feel is perfect for me. Next question, would you ever do a home favorites or maybe baby favorites for products? I would love to venture into these topics as well, so yes, definitely in the future. What K-drama are you watching? Thank you for Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. The one that I just finished watching is called Mr. Queen. It is the most hilarious K-drama ever. I think it's a couple of years old, but it is on Netflix, so check it out. That has been my new obsession. Our question from my favorite Nahid, why are you so beautiful? You are just too kind. Thank you. Do you have siblings? How old are you? Did you live with your parents before getting married? I've already answered the siblings. I'm in my mid-30s. Before getting married, I lived on and off with my parents. So I moved away to a different city for university. So I lived on my own for about 5 years. And then my first job out of university, it was also in a different city. So I lived on my own for a little while there as well. And then when I moved back to Sydney, I lived with my parents. And then when I bought my first property, I was there. And so I was so in and out in my 20s that I wanted to be home with my parents for a little while. So yes, before I got married, I was living with my parents. Next question, how old are you and what would you do for a living if you weren't a dentist? Again, mid-30s. What would I do for a living if I wasn't a dentist? I went into dental school when I was 18, so I never really looked back or looked at different careers. So it is a path not taken that I never really thought about. But when I was really little, I wanted to be a news reporter. I might have mentioned this once or twice in a previous video, but when our family migrated to Australia, it was really difficult to get into journalism and all of that as someone who spoke English as a second language. So to be honest, if I lived in Korea, I might have taken a different path. Next question, and my friend is being silly, what's your secret of being the amazing woman you are? You are totally biased. You are more amazing, but thank you. Where does your family come from? Korea. My favorite cat is asking, when are you coming to Singapore? Meet up, meet up. I would love to come to Singapore. It's one of the closer places from Sydney that we can get to. So hopefully sometime in the near future. Apparently babies fly for free until the age of 2. And I've heard from a lot of people to travel a lot during their first year because they're just babies and they're not the toddler stage yet. So maybe soon, maybe next year. Fingers crossed. I'd love to meet you, babe. Another question from Kat is bag related, so I'll do that in the next video. Next question, why did you choose your profession? It's a bit of a childhood story. So when I was little, I had a lot of holes in my teeth. So I was going to the dentist a lot when we lived in Korea, and it was never a good experience. I was so scared all the time because everything hurt so much. Obviously, it's not fun to get dental treatment as a child. Then when we moved to Sydney, my parents found a new dentist. She was also Korean because my parents were more comfortable speaking. And this new dentist was a godsend. She was beautiful. She was this young lady dentist. She just became my role model. She never hurt me. She was so kind and sweet. She made every visit so easy. And believe it or not, that was when I decided I wanted to become a dentist. I didn't even know what was really involved. I just knew that I had to get the marks. So towards the end of high school, I really tried to get as high a mark as possible. That is basically my story. She's still a dentist and she now is a mum of 2 beautiful girls. And I still think about her and very occasionally still see her around. But yes, she was my big inspiration. As a little girl, I just wanted to be like her. Next question, how did you know that your husband was the one? We met when we were pretty young, so I guess we sort of grew up together. So this may sound a little strange to you guys because I never really talked about my personal life for the first few years on YouTube. But then when I started hitting these milestones, that's probably when I started talking about my personal life a little bit more. And there was always this fear of sharing sharing my personal life online, it's not that I don't trust you guys or anything, but I'm really putting myself out there. But once I started sharing a little more about my life, I started really enjoying that you guys could see more of my life than just the luxury handbag lover aspect. So even though it is a relatively new development that I'm talking about on my channel, we met when we were really young, we grew up together, and we've been through so much of life's ups and downs together. And you know how some people say, I just instantly knew when I met him. It was definitely not the case for me because I think I was just too young to even know what that means. But as we were going through life together, it just really made me feel like now this person I can really trust, even in my darkest times. And you know, he's someone that I want to be with through all the crazies that life brings, and I just feel safe with him, that I can, you know, get through anything with him really. Yeah, and he's just been the biggest supporter of me, and yeah, it's just, I'm gonna tear up. But so it was a bit of a natural progression and just a bit of growing up together, and yeah, it was quite a progressive process for me. Next question by Nerdy Neptune as well. What do you typically eat in a day? So it's a little bit different now because I'm pregnant. I feel like I eat a lot more than before. But before pregnancy, I typically skipped breakfast because I am not a morning person and I never really enjoyed eating breakfast. It was more when I was little, my mum would force me to eat breakfast before going to school, but I never enjoyed it. So I used to skip breakfast a lot, and because I worked full time, I would just eat lunch, and this is really bad. When I'm really good, I'll meal prep and bring a salad or something, but usually I'll just eat out at a cafe or get a takeaway sushi. And then for dinner, we will cook up some Korean food. Maybe I'll do what I eat in a day and my go-to recipes as a busy, I guess, working woman, even though now I work part-time. But there are a few go-to recipes that I cook. And generally for dinner, we will have rice and some Korean dish. Next question. Will you be sharing what you buy for baby and maternity? Congrats, by the way. Thank you, babe. I would love to share my maternity buys and baby buys. I haven't bought a whole lot yet. I basically have been living in my more relaxed or elasticated dresses. I don't have a really big bump yet. It's more like a bit of a bloat belly still. I am 18 weeks. I don't know when this belly is going to start looking like a pregnant belly, but apparently with your first pregnancy, it can take a while to show. But yeah, basically I've just been buying a lot more Lululemon comfortable gear, and that's what I've been living in. But I'm sure when I start to get bigger, I will actually have to get some maternity clothes. And as far as baby things, I think we will probably start buying them after our 20-week scan in a couple of weeks. That's apparently when everyone starts buying. But yes, I'd love to share what I buy. Next question from Rena. I've met you at my meetup. What's your motto? What is your favorite quote? This is a bit of a deep one. It's a philosophical one. I am someone who stresses easily. A lot of people tell me from the outside that I look pretty calm, but I am usually a very stressed person and I do get anxious really easily. So a couple of mindsets and, you know, quotes that really made my life better is obviously my mom always tells me, just live in the moment, just take it a day at a time. And I really agree because we don't know what's around the corner. So we really just want to enjoy what we have here and the now. And one of my all-time favorite quotes is, whatever you're worrying about right now, is it going to be something that is going to matter in 6 months' time, 1 year time, 5 years time, 20 years time? If it's not, don't even sweat it. And that really helped me to relax and have a much better day-to-day life. So I guess my motto is appreciate what we have here and the now because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and just be grateful. Rena also asks, where is your favorite furniture shop in Sydney? I love shopping at Space Furniture in Alexandria. They do have some more affordable brands as well as really high-end brands. So I love looking around there. Obviously can't afford everything from there at the moment, but that is my favorite store. And last question from Rena, where is your favorite Korean restaurant in Sydney? It changes a lot. I am not too picky when it comes to Korean food. As long as it's not terrible, I go wherever it's convenient. And lately, you know, the one that we've been going to the most is this place called Myeongjang. It's in Chatswood in the interchange on top of the train station. They don't have a huge range of menu, but they are a barbecue restaurant as well. So you can have Korean barbecue, and they do have some other main dishes that you can choose from. such as stews and bibimbap, and I just like how clean their food is, and they do have some really nice side dishes as well. Next question, congrats on the baby. Did you always want to be a mum? If I'm being really honest, I was never someone that, always envisioned myself as a mum. When I was really little, I had this vague idea that, oh yeah, of course everyone has kids. But then when I grew up, it really made me think about all the factors that were involved in being a parent. This is probably why it's taken me this long, to the age of my mid-30s, to sort of decide. So yeah, I guess I wasn't always sure if I wanted to be a mum or not, but right now I am really excited about it. And also my husband always wanted to have a child, so because I was the more flexible one, I was happy to then agree with him, and here we are. Next question is from my bestie. Why are you so amazing? Again, you are totally biased. You are amazing. I do have a couple of questions about being a dentist, so I'm going to answer them all together. How long have you been a dentist, and do you specialize in something specific in dentistry? Do you have any advice for a new dental care student? And there was another question that asked me, how is it being a dentist in Australia? So I've been a dentist for over 10 years. 11 years now. I went straight from high school to an undergraduate degree, did a 5 years and graduated pretty young. I think I was about 22 or 23. I am a general dentist, so I'm not a specialist in any field of dentistry, but I have taken up some extra training after university. So I do some general orthodontics where I do braces and Invisalign. Do I have any advice for a new dental student? It's been so long since I was at dental school, and I have a few friends that are tutoring at the uni, and they tell me things are so different these days. So I don't know if I have any advice. But I found that uni was pretty straightforward. They tell you exactly what to do. I think it'll be the same with any degree out there. Use all the resources that you have at university, because after you graduate, every resource you want to access is going to cost you a lot of money. Whereas at uni, at least in Australia, we have a HEC system where university fees are funded by the government. So it's pretty cheap to go to uni, and you have access to all these amazing resources. But I found the after graduating and getting into the real workforce, I found that part a lot more challenging than actually going through dental school. There are no set rules. If I graduated today again, I think I will explore more different jobs and move around until I find the type of practice and the type of job that really suit me. I am someone who doesn't like a lot of changes, so when I find a job, I tend to just stay there, and I don't think that was really good for my career progression. Luckily, I graduated young, so I could afford to waste a little bit of time in the process of finding what kind of dentistry I really wanted to do and what kind of patients really work with my personality and with my style of working. So it took me a long time because I never really looked at as many different jobs in as many different types of practices. But yeah, if I was going back, 10 years again, I'll probably explore a little earlier. And what is it like to be a dentist in Australia? I think we are pretty lucky in Australia, but it really depends on the type of place that you work at. So I think it's really about finding the right crowd for you. Next one, more about your upbringing, family, childhood, what you were into as a little girl. So my upbringing, basically, I was born in Korea. I grew up there until the age of about 11. Then my parents migrated to Australia, Sydney. So I started going to school here in Sydney in year 6, which was a difficult adjustment. So I think that whole big move had a lot of impact on my childhood. So I did have a lot of insecurity issues and confidence issues just from that language barrier and that huge change in environment in those pre-teen years. And being the sensitive and anxious person I innately am, it was not an easy adjustment, but I guess that's taught me to be tough and brought me to where I am today. What was I into as a little girl? I always liked pretty things. I was always really competitive, so I was always a pretty hard worker. So I think if I went back to my childhood, I'll just tell myself to chill. But yeah, I was just that competitive girl that wanted a lot of pretty things. Next one, please speak a bit of Korean for us. So maybe I'll do the intro to this video in Korean, in the Korean YouTuber style. So here we are. 안녕 여러분. 오늘은 제가 처음으로 Q&A 영상을 준비해봤어요. That means hello everyone. Today I'm gonna do my very first Q&A video. So there you are. Next one, what motivates you to continue with your channel while changing your priorities? I guess the biggest thing is I really enjoy talking to you guys and sharing my finds, sharing my thoughts. It is completely different to what I do as a day job, and I really like the creativity that it comes with. Even though my channel is a luxury channel and a lot of the times I unbox or show items, but you guys know that I don't unbox every single video, so it does require a little bit of creativity in coming up with video ideas and learning new skills like video editing, which is just something that I had no idea how to do before starting this channel. Making thumbnails, so a bit of graphic design. Even though my skills are pretty basic, I just love having to learn new skills to upkeep this channel. And I guess the other thing that I always told myself was, if I ever have a child, I don't completely want to lose my own identity. So when this kid grows up and they're, 18 years old and 20 years old and they move on with their lives, I want to keep my own identity, who I was before I became a mother. So when I think about it, what I did before I considered motherhood was, I am a dentist, I was pretty career focused, and I loved working on my YouTube channel. And it can come across the wrong way because it may seem like I wouldn't give my all to my child. Of course, I'd give everything that I could to my child, but at the end of the day, I do want to keep my own identity and who I am as an individual. And having a child will of course become a big part of who I am. But yeah, basically, I just want to keep up with everything that I enjoyed before becoming a mum. So as long as my lifestyle allows it, I would love to continue with this channel. And the last couple of questions. How are you and where do you see your channel going when your baby will be here? So I don't think my channel will change too much. I will still talk about all things that we love, like bags and luxuries, shopping and all of that. I might occasionally do more vlog style videos and share a little bit more about my life as a mom, but I don't think the channel itself will change too much. Of course, depending on how I go with the baby, maybe the uploads will be sporadic. I have no idea what to expect. I don't even know if it will be manageable to film videos like I do now, so maybe the upload schedule will become a little inconsistent. But for the topics that I'm going to talk about, I don't see it changing too much. Do you sometimes want to talk about other things than luxury or bags? If yes, what topics? The answer is absolutely yes. I'd love to talk about other topics. I really enjoy doing travel vlogs or even, personal finances. But the thing is, YouTube is a little bit difficult with its algorithm. If I deviate from the core topic that I normally talk about, that you guys are here for, and one video really flops and doesn't do really well, sometimes it really impacts my whole channel's views and the following videos can suffer as well. So I would absolutely love to talk about those other topics as well, but I will try and do it sparingly. So this brings us to the end of this personal Q&A. I've been talking here for about an hour, so this may end up being a really long video. I just can't keep things really short, can I? I tend to just chat on and on about everything. So if you're still here, thank you so much for spending this much time with me, listening to me blab on about my life. Thank you again everyone for asking me questions. There'll be one video all about my new micro Lady D Joy bag in a few days, and then I'll be back with part 2 of this Q&A, all about luxury bags and fashion and my opinions. I hope I didn't miss any questions. There were so many questions and I screenshotted them all, but I think I may do occasional Q&As as a regular thing if that is something that you guys would be interested in. So if you don't already, follow me on Instagram. I will usually post Instagram stories. I find it the easiest because you can just type in your question directly on my stories. So if you enjoyed this Q&A, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today. And I can't wait to see you again soon in my next video. Bye guys.